Hello, welcome to another episode of One for the Table. I'm your host, Kimchi.
And I'm John Kung.
Ta-da!
Kim is currently on the road right now doing her tour for Work the World. Is that right?
Yeah, tour officially hasn't started, but we're like in the rehearsal phase right now, so I'm in New York City. Yeah.
Oh, that's why you're in New York. That makes so much sense, because I know you won't go there unless if you can help it.
No, I love New York City. It's a city full of people with dreams, full of art, culture. Is it the most convenient city? I don't think so. For some reason, they booked our hotel in the middle of Times Square.
Oh no, where are you?
It's like the Hard Rock Cafe, or the Hard Rock Hotel in Times Square.
Whoa.
Going in and out of here is like really, really inconvenient.
Yeah, I once spent, I think, almost 2 weeks staying at not a hotel, but like a service apartment in Times Square. It was the Aka, and it was right on like 44th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like right out my door. And it got to the point where, like, I think by the latter part of my trip, I was just like avoiding reasons to leave my apartment just so I wouldn't have to deal with Times Square.
Yes. And also, all the food around here is really expensive. And
Yeah, because it's all touristy and it's not actually all that good.
No. And also, when you order like food delivery app, a lot of times in New York, they deliver on bikes, which is, I completely understand why, it makes sense. But then, like, I don't know, they don't like do anything to like protect the food, like being on the bike. So then everything just kind of like spills everywhere. And when you like meet the food delivery person, they hand you like a wet sack.
Yeah, that's the experience.
And then yesterday I was like hungry for dinner, so I was like looking up around here, like what's walking distance, and there was like a ramen place, which Ichiran Ramen, which I've had in Japan, is great. It's like those like one of those like boost system, and then you get to pick like all these options and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So all I got was their basic ramen, which is $22.
Yeah.
Which is also very expensive to begin with, but I'm like, all right, Times Square,
Yeah.
So then I got like the basic topping set, which was $7.
Yeah.
So it just comes with like a little bit of like mushrooms, extra scallion, 2 pieces of chashu, 2 pieces of seaweed. I got an iced green tea, and then I added on an egg because, like ramen and egg.
Of course.
And I added on a little extra noodles, which were $4. So it really wasn't like that much what I got extra.
Right.
Right?
Sounds like you got a basic ramen bowl.
I did get a basic ramen bowl.
Yeah.
My bill for just that ramen bowl, $47.
Yeah, New York's really expensive, especially where you are. I always say that between LA and New York,
Mm-hmm.
you can eat really well in Los Angeles for actually a very reasonable amount of money every day. To eat just as well, as far as like the quality and enjoyment of food in New York, you have to spend so much money. I think New York has better fine dining options, but that's not something you can eat every day. I could have a taco every day.
Yeah.
I could have a gorgeous street side taco every day, which we need to talk about that later because I've been reading that people have been attacking taco stands in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And that is
fucked up.
Yeah, that is messed up. But yeah, the thing is like New York does have like iconic things like bagels, pizza, chopped cheese, that kind of thing. But it's like those are treats. Well, maybe the bagel you can have
like
every day.
Everyday nourishment,
Right. And so it's like, it's everything else is just prohibitively expensive. It's prohibitively expensive to eat well daily in New York or even just survive. I bought like a Dasani bottle of water from a bodega and it turned into like it was like $5 or $7. It was enough to make me like gag a little bit. I was like, I'm not even at the gym or a hotel, and this is water on the streets.
Yeah,
like
so So I saw like a bag of Lay's, like the normal size that people get.
Yeah.
It was $8.99 at the bodega, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get a bottle of water instead. $7.99 for like a big thing of sweat water, and I'm like, what is this price?
Yeah, I know. People need to be like, I hope New Yorkers are getting paid to live this way. It is very quickly becoming like not worth it in my mind, unless you're getting like compensated properly.
My hat's off to you, like if you can somehow manage around this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Financially, I'm comfortable, but even, like by my standards, it's like, how can anybody like
I would
pay
be
this?
struggling. I would be struggling there unless like maybe prices for that kind of thing off of Manhattan is more reasonable. Like I can't imagine Brooklyn is that much cheaper, but like Queens, water in Queens might be a couple $bucks.
But like I'm still gagged that I paid $47 for a bowl of ramen.
Yeah.
Like I'm shook, shaken, and stirred.
I think when I get delivery in New York, I normally go for like a sashimi set lunch or dinner, and I can get away with paying under like $40 and being full. But obviously, it's not going to be very good, and I'm ordering stuff like Naruto rolls, where it's just like a roll, but it's cucumber instead of rice, and that's more filling. But yeah, it's hard. But I will say you're really close to a really good restaurant over there called Kochi. I think it's called Kochi.
Kochi.
Yeah, Kochi.
Korean restaurant.
Yeah. Have you eaten there?
No.
It's Michelin starred Korean restaurant, in-house kitchen. It's probably like maybe 10 to 15 minutes away from you. It's
honestly though,
immaculate.
There's so many
it's so good
restaurants in New York.
Yeah, but I would, if I were you, I would try to get a table there, and table for one as early as you like to eat. I think you'd be able to do it. I think you would like that place very much.
Okay, but I want to talk about this bizarre experience that I had at the ramen shop.
Okay.
So it's one of those, like you line up to get into the ramen shop, right?
Yeah.
And when I got in, I was like the last person in line, but there weren't that many people in front of me. There was maybe like a party of like 3 Asians and another person, and then me. And then we're just waiting, and then out of nowhere, these people like behind were screaming like, "Hey, can you guys scoot in so we can get in? Fuck, it's raining outside." And then we like scooted in, and it's like, we need to teach these people some manners. Like, it's fucking raining outside, and we're standing out in the rain, and these people.
That's very coded,
right? And I was like, first of all, like none of us even like heard them even open the door or come in,
right?
And I want to be like, you could have just been like a normal person and say, "Hey guys, can you just squeeze in a little bit?" And we all would have scooted in. But for you to come into a Japanese establishment and look at a bunch of Asians and say, "We need to teach these people some manners."
Yeah, that is fucked up.
And I thought about saying something, but I'm like, just based on like how aggressive this person is, I feel like talking to them wouldn't really teach them anything.
Yeah,
and it just like would have been like a waste of like my energy and my day.
Yeah, oftentimes I don't have the time, but I'm more and more starting to find the time, because I think people feel okay to use coded language around us like that is because most of them have the assumption that like we won't say anything. And so for that reason, I've been like much more okay with being aggressive right back.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, should I have said something? Should I have not said something?
Yeah.
But if you're going to be that ignorant and aggressive to begin with, like chances are, it doesn't matter what I say to them; they'll forever be that way.
It's true. I mean, like they might forever be that way, or they might think twice because their image of quiet Asians might not be as accurate as they initially thought. Also, the setting matters too. I mean, I don't think anybody would try that in K-Town.
Yeah.
Wait, where were you? Where this was the ramen shop in Times Square?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that person could be from anywhere. In fact, it probably wasn't even a person from New York. If you were in a place, if you were in Times Square,
I just don't understand why it's hard for people to be like a decent human being. You know,
who knows?
Or if you just say, "Hey, it's raining outside. Could you folks scoot in just a little bit?" And it wasn't
even
like
just an excuse me.
Cider. Like they could have easily just come in and be fine.
But they constantly just had to say like these people, which we know what they meant.
Exactly,
we know what they meant. And then you paid $50.
Yeah, New York got me good.
Did you end up going back to that sushi restaurant that we went to though?
Oh no, I didn't. I should.
You should hit up that good omakase. I think I also sent you an omakase place on TikTok too.
You did, yeah.
That I saw in New York. Looked pretty good.
Yesterday I had to like go to Brooklyn for like a little fitting situation.
Oof.
And then came back. That is like
almost far.
Like an hour ride there, an hour ride back.
Yeah, girl. From where you are, it would have been better to take the train. It's not any faster to get places in New York than Los Angeles. It's just a different type of travel.
Mm-hmm.
Like to leave your house is gonna be 30 minutes in New York. I think it's a nicer 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on where you're going, because I like the commute better. I like walking better. But yeah, it's the same amount of time. I think it's just very personality based. Some people like to be alone in their cars. Other people like to be like surrounded by people and walking.
I don't mind walking, but the train is just like, I don't know.
The train is not. I feel like the train in the summer. The train in the summer is miserable. Especially when you come from Asia and it's like, we have air conditioning, we have high-speed internet, we have glass panels that stop people from falling onto the tracks. We have cleanliness.
We have security. We have
security. We have not the smell of pee at random times around the corner. Like, yes, I mean.
And then meanwhile, like in New York subway, there's like Asian women like getting thrown in front of like moving trains and people getting robbed
and giant rats. And I mean, New York subway is a very unique problem in the sense that I think it's the oldest subway system in the world, and it loses money in operations. And so it's like, you know, they're just busy trying to keep things from crumbling. Meanwhile, places like China, Korea, Hong Kong, where all their stuff is like newer technology and they have like cheaper labor, they can build like much nicer places a lot faster.
And you move in New York, like just even like change one station, I feel like would be so time consuming too, right?
Yeah. The fact that there are multiple trains on one line was so confusing to me as a person who grew up in Hong Kong, because on Hong Kong you have like a few colored, like you have like red line, blue line, purple line, yellow line, like, and those lines, the trains only go back and forth. They only go.
That's how Chicago was too.
Yeah, they only go in two directions, forwards and backwards. So there was no chance if you were on a line, there was very little chance for you to get lost. Meanwhile, like, especially if you're going from Manhattan to Brooklyn, like I've gotten lost so many times because, you know, there are the trains decide to, like, they don't decide to change, but they do change lines like in the middle of their route. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to like plugging in my headphones and not listening to anyone, not listening to anyone and anything until I get to my destination. But, you know, you have the subway speakers in New York, and they sound like this, and they tell you like, "Oh, we're changing lanes now." They sound like adults in like Peanuts cartoons.
Yes.
Wah 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 wah. You know, and then you're like, "Oh,
clean and crisp like voice of like the Asian like train station."
Oh, in Hong Kong, it's 請小心車門, please stand clear of the doors.
It's always like a very like woman with like a great diction, with a soft, welcoming voice.
In like 3 languages and 6 dialects. By the time she's finished telling you to like, please mind the gap, you've already reached the next destination.
Exactly. Oh, what else could improve in America?
Hey, have you like gotten any of the really bad rainstorms that we got over here?
Rainstorms?
Yeah.
I mean, it rained yesterday, but I wouldn't call it a rainstorm.
Michigan got hit so hard. Apparently, there were like 2 tornadoes last night in different parts of the state. Nighttime tornado. I didn't even know nighttime tornadoes were a thing. But that sounds terrifying to me. Tornadoes in the daytime are bad enough, but can you imagine like just sleeping and like not being able to see it, but knowing that that is awful.
Like I flew out of LA literally like hours before the hurricane and earthquake. Yeah. And then I got out of Toronto literally like
the earthquake
right before all that tornado that you're talking about.
Yeah. I read something interesting, and by read, I mean I listened to it on social media, that more people die from hurricanes named after women than hurricanes named after men. And it's not because hurricanes named after women are just innately more dangerous, but people actually take them a lot less seriously, and that is what gets them killed. Like misogyny, like really do be like killing people, and even when it comes to weather. So like people are more likely to evacuate when a hurricane is named after a man. They're more likely to prepare when a hurricane is named after a man. But like when it's like, you know, this past one, Hurricane Hillary, they were like, oh, NBD, like Hillary couldn't even like beat Trump in the election. I'm not going to worry about this hurricane. Meanwhile, like people get killed because of that exact way of thinking. I thought that was like super interesting.
The actual victims, you know, who just, you know, I'm talking in general.
I don't think anybody died in Hurricane Hillary.
Like, rest in peace. My condolences to your family. Like, if you lost a loved one in like one of these hurricanes. But if you died because you underestimated a hurricane just because it was a female named, maybe you deserve to die.
I did not know where you were going with that. I would. I was like, wait, I don't think I thought you were talking. I thought you had said that because of what I said, and I was like, I don't think what I said was like very like was like a targeted at victims of hurricanes, and then you follow it up with that.
Ain't nobody got time for misogyny.
Literally, I mean, honestly, no. Honestly, no. And you know what? I can't really say anything better because I did say like kill all men 2 weeks ago.
Really, the world will warp if all men actually like died. I think about like random like disaster scenarios.
I don't even think about that. I think about like how like when it comes to primitive society, men were probably more men, and even like to some extent psychopathic men were probably super useful when people were like warring tribes against each other. But then once we got like civilized, we're like so obsolete.
Sometimes like when I'm like riding on a plane, it's like, what if there was like nuclear holocaust and like the world ended, but then only survivors were people on this plane?
What would you do if you thought about like, would you look around to see like who you got to deal with, or would you be like, I wouldn't want to survive?
Yeah, you know, I'm not afraid of death, and I'm fine like going as long as I know everyone else is going with me. No, if I was the only one, like,
not you having FOMO, and that's the only reason for you living.
You know, we're gonna go, and it's like, you know what? You know, all the dinosaurs died off at one point. You know, maybe it's our turn. You know,
I do. Yeah, I also think about like who's trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. What is on the other side of that?
So, like, if the world actually had a zombie apocalypse, I'll let a zombie scratch me. And then just, like, slowly turn me into a zombie.
Oh. I would shoot myself.
No, even then, like, that could be too painful. And
I mean, not if you hit, like, I think that would be, like, the least. Or I would do the thing where you, like, you know, I'm not going to talk about the intricate details of how, but there are ways to, like, just put yourself to sleep.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there are ways to do that, and I'd be okay with that.
Like, if you somehow, like, manage to survive, then you're, like, freaking, like, disfigured.
Disfigured? Like, you're not even disfigured, but, like, think of, like, your life after that. Yeah. You're eating leaves. You're trying to survive zombies. Suddenly winter is something that can kill you now. And the people and the other survivors are probably assholes. Let's be real. Like, the other survivors are the kill or be killed type people, survival at all costs type people. I don't want to be around that. I want to be dead with all of the other people that have, like, that are just, like, vibing out up in heaven or hell, wherever. Just not here. Just not anywhere but here.
Yeah. And then watch, like, somehow Australia is fine. They managed to keep everybody out. Yeah. So the entire world has gone to, like, shit, but, like, Australia.
Most ironic things, like, zombies are terrified of, like, kangaroos and spiders.
And Australian accents.
And Australian accents? No, that's just me.
But yeah. Zombie apocalypse.
How did we get here? Oh, wait, New York.
Why would you, like, have to eat to survive, like, during a zombie apocalypse?
I mean, I know some foraging. Like, I'm able to identify edible plants, but not to the extent that I think that I could make, like, a big enough meal. Like, you'd have to hunt, you'd have to forage, you'd have to fish, that kind of stuff. Stuff that I know how to do recreationally, but I don't know if I'd be good enough. I would mistake something for something else and probably accidentally poison myself.
I feel like if there was, like, a zombie apocalypse, Costco wouldn't be a bad place to get locked in.
Yeah, but that would be, like, the first place that everybody would go. And then you're dealing with, like, the first people who got into Costco. You're dealing with the people who, like, got shotguns first at Sam's Club and now are at Costco afterwards. Like, because, you know, go to Sam's Club for the shotguns and then, like, Costco for the hot dogs. And so, like, you know, those places would just be, like, full of people that are already there and just probably, like, bad, selfish people too.
But if you can manage to get in there, I feel like it would be easy to keep the zombies out at Costco the way it's designed. And they will.
Oh, yeah, that's true, because there's only one way in and one way out, plus fire exits. Yeah, that's fair.
They have a full kitchen, and they have, like, all the kitchen tools.
And bathrooms. And
also, like, literally entertainment.
Yeah.
Everything you could possibly need.
You could do, like, a small commune city at a Costco.
Yeah.
For a little while, at least. Lots of refrigeration. Just move all the meat into the freezer. Yeah, I could see that. You know what would be even better, though? Restaurant Depot.
Oh. But Restaurant Depot wouldn't have the entertainment that Costco would have.
They would not have the entertainment. And Restaurant Depot, without a zombie apocalypse, is already one of the most depressing places on Earth.
And also, once you start going to Restaurant Depot, you kind of, like, it's hard to take, like, a lot of restaurants seriously. Like, sometimes you look at, like,
that's why it's depressing.
Frozen dumplings and you go, like, oh, this restaurant just, like, fries this up and charges, like, $8 for these. Oh, these are the crab rangoons that this restaurant charges, like, $12 for, like, 4-piece.
Worse upon worse is when you see stuff like mac and cheese and potato salad in vats. Once you start seeing that stuff being sold by, like, green bean salad sold by, like, the 10-gallon tub, you're just like, we're gross. That being said, like, you could literally take a bath in potato salad.
Does seeing potato salad in, like, large amounts gross you out?
There's something about it. there's just something about just a big amount of potato salad.
I mean, it's meant to feed the masses.
I mean, it's not. I'm not saying I don't like potato salad. It's just that like when you have that much of anything that's mayo based, it's just a lot to see.
Yeah, but it's like not meant for like a family, but it's meant to feed like hundreds of people.
Oh, hundreds of people. Yeah. I just think nothing should be like that quantity of of a lot of things that's meant to be eaten is just weird.
Why? I mean, you've done like dinners for like big groups of people.
I know, but like not. Okay, at no point in time do I have 50 pounds of potato salad anywhere. It's just a weird thing to see about a potato salad that you can actually go inside.
But if you're like, I don't know, maybe catering a summer wedding and like the menu was like barbecue, you would grab that potato salad.
Girl, no.
You would grab that potato salad.
I would not be grabbing that potato salad.
You don't like potato salad at barbecues?
No, I also don't like that quality of food for myself.
I mean, yes, duh, you're a chef, bud.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as seeing like those fake ass like crab rangoons and stuff like that in large quantity. It was just like none of it's real. There's a false quality to it that just it just doesn't seem real to me.
That is like the most like bizarre take I've heard you say.
Yeah. That's why I think like things at Restaurant Depot when they're sold in just like that huge amounts of quality, like quantity, that's like the hospitals, the cafeterias, the Cisco stuff. No one's looking at an American public school lunch thinking, I want 80 pounds of that.
Yeah, but also American, like, it is like a known fact that America has like the worst lunch out of like everyone in the world.
Yeah. And that's why, like, and that's the same thing. That's where that potato salad is going.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, John hates some mayo things in large quantities. Let it be known.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just have an aversion to 50 pounds of mayo. Anything.
50 pounds of mayo? Anything?
Yeah, girl. And it's like, and you know how much those things cost too?
It's probably like,
I wonder if we can price it out.
It's probably like $29.99.
Yeah, it's for a suspiciously low amount of money.
Quantity over quality, you know.
That's it. That's I think that's just like what it is in. Yeah, you definitely cannot see what they offer unless you log in.
Also,
although I do have a membership.
Also, on a random note, can we talk about wedding food for a second?
Yeah, sure.
On average wedding, when you go, the options are a grilled chicken breast, grilled steak, and pasta, right?
Yes.
And sometimes they'll have fish and like whatnot. But
yes.
Why is it that these wedding chicken and wedding steak is always dry? And no one really seems to like enjoy it or like throw it up for them. And yet they keep serving them at every weddings.
It's because because it's still $100 a plate per person as far as cost to the people paying for the wedding. It costs anywhere between like $1 to, depending on like drinks and stuff like that, like $1 to, I would say, $300 on average for a wedding guest. And so like you save on the food because people think, oh, well, people are just here to like drink and party. So like the food is just like something for the dinner time. Actually, one of the best wedding dinners I ever had was in Puerto Rico, and it was all like really, really good Latin food.
In Korea, a lot of times, like when you get married, everyone that attend the wedding get like a little food voucher, and then you take that food voucher to the buffet, and like the buffet has like everything, and then everyone eats whatever they want off the buffet, and they're happy and merry. But I just don't understand Like, I'm so sick of fucking seeing dried chicken breast and like dried steak at these
That is
American
like in
weddings.
one of the places where they could try to save money. I'm guessing. I'm looking it up here. A 100-person wedding can cost between $20,000 to
But it's like,
$30,000.
it doesn't necessarily save money either. There are like other things that they could do that's much cheaper, but also
Oh
more
yeah,
special.
I would totally have just like pizza party,
I feel like if I were to do a chicken option, it would be like a
fried
chicken tikka
chicken.
masala.
Oh, or chicken tikka masala. Indian food, such a good idea for wedding catering because a lot of those restaurants are already used to catering for huge banquets. So they could do like your tiny little 100-person wedding in their sleep. And the food is good because a lot of it is very saucy, which means not a lot of it will be like, it won't be dry.
Exactly.
It's on rice with vegetables, so it's filling. And it keeps really well. Chicken breasts are also like one of the least offensive things to, let's face it, a Western audience. And so they eat that because, like, not because it's good, but because more people can stomach it than anyone. Chicken, beef, or fish, like those are usually the options. Or chicken, beef, or vegetarian. Those are usually the options for it. And like, you're not trying to, in that situation, you're not really concerned with showing people a really great time in the terms of a dinner, maybe the rest of the wedding, yeah, but you're just trying to like piss off the least amount of people. And when you're choosing your wedding, aren't you choosing it for like the grumpy elderly people that are invited to the wedding?
I don't know. I don't think I know enough grumpy elderly people.
No, me neither. But yeah, I do. It does make me very, very sad if the food is not at a wedding is not
I just
great.
feel like you went out of your way to have a ceremony and make the whole day special.
Yeah.
And I feel like food is such like a special part of like the whole experience that the food should be special.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Especially if you're going to do like a kind of wedding banquet thing. But we need to take a break really quick. We'll get back to this. We'll return after a minute.
And we're back.
What wedding did you go to that made you think this way?
I was just thinking about like all the past weddings I've attended, and I just remember like when it's like an option of like chicken breast, beef, or pasta. I just remember thinking like none of these options are satisfying.
Yeah.
But also, it's not like I'm gonna like leave wedding to get food somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, you know my motto when it comes to food: don't swallow unless it's delicious.
Yeah.
Or unless it's healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and just being full on mediocre food just makes me so mad because I only get so many meals a day.
It's very much giving like airline options. It's like the chicken, beef, or vegetarian rice bowl thing. Like it's not. Yeah. I also wish people put more thought into it, but you also have to like maybe in those situations, people that actually like plan the wedding, food isn't really like high on their priorities for joy either. Not everybody likes food as much as we do, which is weird to think about, but I do just think about like my ex who like food was literally for fuel. It was fuel to them. There was food and then there was pizza, and pizza was the only thing he liked.
That's another wedding where they brought a food truck from In-N-Out.
Yeah, that's nice.
And the guests could just get like In-N-Out burgers.
Yeah, that's cool.
See, like that is great.
Yeah,
like,
that is great.
That is special.
Oh, and a lot of times you're stuck with your venue's catering. Like it actually, if you pick a venue that you really like, a lot of them force you to use their kitchen. And if you don't use their kitchen, they charge you for it anyway. And then you have to pay for an extra amount of catering to come in. And then you probably don't get to use any of their staff. And you have to bring in your own staff. So if your wedding is at like a nice wedding style venue, a lot of them will trap you that way in the sense that like, you know, you pretty much have to pay for 2 catering operations just to feed people once. And you're kind of stuck with the shitty food that your venue has.
Oh my God, wedding industry is a scam.
I mean, paying $30,000 to get married is a scam.
There was like a show on Netflix. I forgot what it was called, but so basically, every episode they feature a different like soon to be newlyweds, and they take them to show their like beautiful like dream house, or they take them to like show their like beautiful dream wedding. And then at the end, they get to choose between whether they're going to pick the dream home or their dream wedding.
Oh my God. And how often do people pick the home?
It's about half and half.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And whenever anyone will pick the dream wedding over the dream home, I'm like, wedding is one day.
One day. A dream home, you spend the rest of your life with the person that actually matters.
Yeah. So it just like baffled me that like weddings are that big of a deal to people, huh?
I guess. Not me.
I mean, I wouldn't know because, you know, forever single. But even then, I don't know. I just feel like the wedding, part of you has to like, I don't know. I feel like this might be like a brave yet controversial opinion. So much of like the attention is like on you and your relationship, and I don't know. You have to like love like parading your like relationship to like other people to like a certain level.
I think also a lot though, like in a lot of situations though, weddings aren't even for the couple getting married, but like for the parents of the couple.
But then are the parents going to pay for the wedding at that point?
Well, you know? A lot of times they do.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
A lot of times, yeah. A lot of there's traditions around it, but like obviously, as a person getting gay married someday, I don't really think about that. So, but I know there's like rules or guidelines. I don't know.
Unspoken wedding rules.
But to the point where you like talk about people who really like to parade their relationships, obviously I don't. I barely show any part of my relationship on social media. But like I could never be the type of like couples TikTok or family YouTubers. Like that's a level of comfort with the internet that I don't think I will ever do.
Well, so family YouTubers make me a little bit
they're very
weird.
They are
like the
weird.
Little kids that are participating.
That's like, literally child labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, do they really consent this?
Yeah. I remember there was like one family YouTuber that was like, they tried to adopt a child from Asia. And then they canceled the adoption because they found out that there was a policy that didn't allow the child to be filmed. And so they're like, we're canceling the adoption. But they were, on one hand, they were career YouTubers already, I think. But like the way they went about and said it as if they were like withholding their freaking like, it was very, I guess this shop doesn't want my money type vibe. And I was just like, this is awful. This is terrible.
Yeah, I think they got canceled pretty hard for that, didn't they?
Well, I think they deserve to. I think Los Angeles or California is putting in a rule for kids of family YouTubers now in the same way that they were protecting, like there are protections for child actors or some protections for child actors. They all still seem pretty messed up to me. But yeah, did you see that there's like a podcast or something that stars like former child actors and they just talk about like all of their trauma and they're unloading all of their experiences on each. It is fascinating. It is fascinating. I was never a Disney kid or a Nickelodeon kid, but I learned who Josh Peck was real quick. And yeah. And I was just like, wow, these people have gone through it. They're gone so like they've gone through so much, and like they're only just now 20 years later starting to heal, it seems. It's rough.
Yeah. I mean, working from like such like a young age and being like forced into the spotlight,
that messes you up,
you know. But then people are like, "Oh, you're rich, it doesn't matter," you know. But
they're not.
Yeah,
they're really not. They literally spend. A lot of them, well, not all of them, but a lot of them spend everything they have on like their substance abuse issues. and as their coping mechanism with like how crazy their lives have been.
Yeah. But I'm glad our Queen Hilary Duff made out okay.
Yes, she stays. Let the rain fall down.
Mm-hmm. And Miley Cyrus seems pretty okay too.
She went through a phase, but she seems very well adjusted.
Yeah.
She seems very well adjusted, and I actually really love the stuff that she produces, like the music that she does. Like she is, her voice is so unique and it's so powerful. It's great for rock and country and pop. Like I really like her.
And also, she just seems like a cool chick that you want to hang out with.
She does. Like she's the auntie that's seen some wild times, but has learned from them and has grown from them, and now she's just like fun.
Yeah. I can't say that much about the other pop stars.
Well, but, no. I mean, it's fine.
But we are not a pop culture podcast.
Yeah, we are not a pop culture podcast. We are just
two old people talking about food.
Okay, so what do you know about like the taco truck attacks in Los Angeles? And like that has to be like a universally loved establishment in Los Angeles, right? Like,
yes. Oh my God, of all people to rob, you're going to like rob like these immigrants who's probably working like day and night, you know, to like make money for their family.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it makes me so mad.
And they're like providing a not only they're like literally doing a huge net positive ad to the neighborhood that they operate in. Everyone's lives, because they're not noisy. They're usually in like a commercial area or like taking up like some commercial parking lot that's not being used.
Yo.
And so like they're putting like space and vibrancy into what would normally be just like an abandoned space, and then serving delicious tacos out of there. Everyone around there benefits. This makes me so much more mad than the news of like Gucci getting robbed.
LVMH getting robbed, like whatever. You know, like, they take enough money from people, like, you know, they'll be fine.
Totally.
But these people, like, every dollar is very important to them.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the reason why, like, whenever I get like $10 worth of tacos, I tip them $10.
Yes.
You know?
It's worth it. There was somebody there's somebody in there who spent literally 5 or 6 hours of their day doing nothing but slicing jalapenos and chopping onions and picking cilantro. Like that is such mind-bending work. Just like that is just monotonous work, but somebody does it and they do it well, and people they're making their salsas and they're making their tortillas. Like, what the hell?
And not to mention, like, they're, you know, like grilling hot meat under like a hot sun all day
in 100-degree weather.
And like, how fucking dare you to even like, you know, not even just take their money, but like to like beat them up. And I was just, oh my God,
I know.
Like, where's the humanity? Where's the kindness? Like, I don't care like how hard your life is.
It's not as hard as theirs.
Exactly.
And they're actually like taking the time to like make other people's lives better.
Exactly. Like, you're a piece of shit if you're robbing these taco stands, and I hope you die a very painful death.
Who was it that said this? Like, oh, it was Bob. It was Bob who said, like, I'm not a witch. I can't cast curses on people. Just because I say something doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I hope this person gets hurt, or I hope something awful happens to this person. And yeah, I kind of feel the same way about these people that do the taco truck attacks.
All the taco stands, I am with you.
Solidarity.
My heart goes out to all of you. Please stay safe and keep making those delicious tacos for us.
I mean, I would donate to. I don't live down there, and I would donate to that GoFundMe.
But speaking of which, I want tacos now.
Yeah, I know. Which don't bother and don't like not to disparage New York tacos, but there's no tacos in New York that are going to be as good as the street tacos in LA. So you might as well just go out there and get a bagel.
Yeah, which is what I've been doing. Also, I saw something like traumatizing yesterday.
What?
I was like in an Uber, and then the Uber was like on the backside of like a pretzel and hot dog vendor.
Mm-hmm.
One of his like pretzels basically like touched the ground,
Oh.
and he just like quietly picked up,
Oh.
put it back in the rack.
Oh,
And like no one saw it because it
no.
was like the car like was covering the front, but I could see it from the back. And I'm
Oh.
like, oh, I will never buy one of those pretzels.
Oh, that's awful. I have a good bagel place recommendation for you.
Is it near Times Square?
It's in Chinatown.
How far is Chinatown from Times Square?
It's not close, but it's
What's up with
close
the name
on the
anyway?
subway. Yeah, it's called Baz's Bagels. B-A-Z or B-A-Z bagels, and it's in Chinatown. It's really, really good. Especially
Baz
if you're
Bagels.
on the way to Brooklyn for any reason,
Mm-hmm.
it's on your way.
Oh, it looks good. I'm looking at pictures.
It's very good. I stayed out in the cold for those bagels, and I was still very happy.
Oh, and they have different flavor cream cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first night I was here, I went to a bodega and they had
Mm-hmm.
like bagel with different cream cheeses. And I was like, oh, can I get like everything bagel with garden veggie cream cheese? And the guy's like, we're out. And I'm like, oh, okay, then can I get the everything bagel with jalapeno cream cheese? Like, we're out of that too. We only have plain. And I'm like, okay. So then he toasted the everything bagel, which I know like toasting a bagel is like not a thing in New York.
It doesn't really matter. Like if the bagels aren't fresh,
Yeah, but no,
then
but
toasting does make them better.
that's not the point.
Yeah. I know.
The point is, he put the cream cheese on the bagel,
Eh.
and then he proceeded to chop up peppers, tomatoes, and red onions, and then he put it on the bagel. And then he's like, "See, garden veggie cream cheese." I'm like, okay," but these were like huge chunks of like diced peppers and onions and like okay. But also like he didn't even give me an option to like not want that, you know?
Yeah, that is.
And then he rang me up and he charged me $9.50 for it. And I was like, did I just get scammed?
It sounds like it.
Like I got a toasted bagel with like diced chunks of cheap veggie that I didn't even want.
Oh boy. Sorry. I have very good experiences when I'm in New York. I'm pretty blessed.
Oh, I mean, I've had good experiences too. Just maybe not this time around.
You need to hit up our friend Kushbu for some like good reservations at some of like the Indian restaurants there. I want to go to Dhamaka with you so bad.
Get on a flight right now.
I can't.
You go there for dinner tonight.
That waiting list is like 100 people long. Yeah, we need to like hit up connections to get a table there.
Well, I could get in line now, and by the time you get here, we might be ready.
But yeah, I want to go with you, and I want to go with like at least one or two other people because the last time I was there, I went with only just one other person, and it wasn't enough. I wanted to try everything because everything that I ordered from that restaurant was so good, and I don't even think I said it properly. It might be Dhamaka, not Dhamaka, but yeah.
What you get canceled over?
My mispronunciation of a restaurant name.
Well-established Indian restaurant here in New York City.
Oh, I want it. I would eat there all the time.
I also really love this restaurant called Jacob's Pickle.
Oh, I don't know that place.
Bob the drag queen at first like brought me here, and then like me and Naomi, we became like obsessed.
Jacob's Pickle?
Yeah.
And it's a pickle place?
It's a pickle place, but it's mostly Southern food.
Oh, ooh, it's pretty. I love the decor.
Mm-hmm. And then all of their pickles are delicious. They're like hot chicken biscuit comes like loaded with like their like house made pickles, and I think a good balance of like sweet, tart, and savory.
Oh, nice. Wait, who's out there with you? Who's on this tour, in this tour group with you? It's not tour group, but you know what I mean.
Bunch of queens, but they all have a show, but I'm not on the show yet. So,
what do you mean they all have a show?
Like they're still on Work the World North America.
Oh, so you're just rehearsing for the Asia leg?
Yeah.
How long are you there for?
We leave tomorrow.
Oh, where are you going first? Where's your first stop?
DC.
Oh, so you're gonna do a show in DC first?
And then like rehearsal in DC, and then Tokyo from there.
Oh, nice. Tokyo first, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, very, very nice.
This time when I go to Tokyo, I really want to try this thing called monjayaki.
What is that? No.
So, I don't know how to describe it. I've never seen anyone in North America like serve it. So basically, they pour just like runny batter on like a giant stovetop grill.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take like a tiny little spatula, just like spoon size, and you pull the batter towards you and then make it crispy. And then you scrape the batter and you eat a little bit at a time.
Okay, so it's almost like an okonomiyaki.
But it's not.
But different ingredients.
Different ingredients, it's more runny, and then you cook like little like pieces at a time.
Oh, okay. I'm looking up. It looks good. Anything with crisscross mayo, you already like have my attention. Like I'm like, ooh, okay. And that's all the time we have for today. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like and subscribe. Perhaps leave a good review on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to ask us any more questions, you can go ahead and follow us at the One for the Table Instagram. That's number 1 for the table on Instagram, and just leave us a message there. Thank you so much and have a great week.